from a world of incredible spectacle at the edge of the Alaskan frontier.
It's gone!
From a place where the unexpected and the extraordinary
Look, the 2-mile mark!
happen every day,
Come on, we catch the end of the race.
comes the unforgettable legend of Balto.
But you can call him idiot.
Do you honestly think any musher would ever put you on his team?
He was an outsider who wasn't like the others
Balto, wait. Balto!
until a town needed a miracle.
Rosie, we can get that medicine through.
You said what?
Come on, mush!
He's going into freezing coldness to find a dog he doesn't like to bring medicine back to a town that doesn't like him.
In a test of will, he challenged the impossible.
You'll never get home. I'll make sure of that.
In a race against time,
Balto, slow down!
Balto is their only hope.
They've missed their second checkpoint.
Universal Pictures and Amblin Entertainment invite you to join Steel,
Touch that box, and I'll tear you apart.
Caltag and Star,
Hey, this is gonna be good.
Muck and Luck,
Well, of course we were. We were in the water. We were moving. We were swimming.
and Boris
Oh, I was so scared. I got equal bumps.
on an incredible adventure into the heart of a hero.
Not dog, not wolf. You're a hero.
Balto.
He's lost. He's alone. And he's 3 million light years from home. In spring 2002, only in theaters,
I'm keeping him.
Steven Spielberg's masterpiece will come to life
Home.
for a whole new generation. Experience the mystery,
Wait, what is it? I don't know. Something scary.
the wonder,
What's happening?
the call
E.T. Phone home.
that started it all. With never-before-seen footage, enhanced special effects, and an all-new digitally remastered soundtrack. The extraordinary 20th Anniversary Edition. E.T., the Extraterrestrial.
I'll be right here.
Only in theaters, March 2002.
Years ago, an Alaskan husky dog called Balto became the most famous dog in the world. Balto was the lead dog of a sled team in 1925. He came to fame because of his part in a relay, which raced across hundreds of miles of snow and ice to bring medicine to sick children in the far north of Alaska. His bronze statue still stands in New York Central Park, inscribed with the words endurance, fidelity, and intelligence. Today at Steven Spielberg's company Amblimation, 250 animators have spent 3 years making an animated feature film. It's based on the true story of Balto's race across Alaska.
Like a lot of people, I'd been in Central Park and I'd seen this statue, and it's a statue of a husky dog, and I was wondering why it was there in amongst all these statues of dignitaries and famous people, and I never knew. And then I received a copy of this outline for a script based upon the serum run in 1925 that saved the children of Nome, Alaska. Animal characters always work well in animation. Here was a story, it was about this central character, this dog, that had been the leader of the team. And the idea of making this dramatic and heroic story with this animal character was very appealing. And then also the fact that it was based upon a true story of saving children's lives just made it film we had to make. We went along to Stephen and said, we have to make this movie. Unfortunately, Stephen agreed with us.
This is a beautiful animated story with some incredible characters and some incredible vistas. Certainly, I can imagine as beautiful as what exists there now and what existed there then.
Against this marvelous backdrop of the Alaskan wilderness, we then constructed a story that had involving characters. We simplified a good deal on the original story, but we stayed as true as we could to the spirit of the real events of 1925, starting with the outbreak of diphtheria in the children of Nome, Alaska.
So what is the true story? It began in the far northwest of Alaska, in the remote township of Nome, only 140 miles south of the Arctic Circle. Nome is cut off from the rest of the world. To this day, there is no road in and no road out. The town's official slogan is, "There's no place like Nome." But the derelict gold dredges on the edge of town are evidence of Nome's more glorious past. In 1900, gold was discovered in Nome. The discovery sparked off the great Alaskan gold rush. Some 20,000 fevered prospectors spread their tents and shacks for 30 miles along this golden shore on the edge of the Bering Straits. But by 1925, the gold and the gold diggers had long gone, and a new and more deadly fever hit the township. An Eskimo child living in one of the shacks abandoned by the miners was struck down by diphtheria. Within a few days, 4 children had died and 18 were seriously ill. It was in the depths of winter. The town was cut off by snow and ice. There was only one doctor and no medicine.
Doctor, how is she?
Exhausted from coughing. Her fever's getting worse.
Looks like diphtheria.
She's the 18th case this week. And I'm out of antitoxin.
In Nome today, there is still one person who remembers the diphtheria outbreak.
The school teacher told us that there's serious sickness coming named diphtheria that make your sore throat, high fever, very high fever. You can even die from it. I'm telling you, our parents was worried. Everybody was worried because we didn't have no medicine for it until they bring it in. Everybody was worried.
What made diphtheria so fearful to people was that only 7 years before, a flu epidemic had swept Alaska. In Nome, 91 children had been orphaned.
I'm one of the doctors here in Nome now. When Dr. Welch was here, he was the only physician. He had just had to deal with the terrible influenza epidemic of 1918 when thousands of Eskimo children and adults died because they had no natural immunity to the disease. With the diphtheria, I'm sure he was very concerned because he had never seen a case of diphtheria in Alaska, that they also did not have this natural immunity and so might become very ill, and thousands again might potentially have perished from this problem.
Anchorage. Stop. Repeat. Urgent request. More diphtheria antitoxin. Stop. Gnome in grave danger. Stop. Please help. Stop.
The real events of the 1925 serum run are actually quite extraordinary. They couldn't get the antitoxin through by rail because there simply wasn't a rail line that ran that far. They couldn't get through by sea because the Bering Straits were frozen over.
Gnome, pack ice closing in. Cannot ship antitoxin by sea. We'll try by air. Gnome, storm at airport. Planes grounded until storm clears. Many regrets.
The only way into Nome was the mail and freight system that operated during the Alaskan winters, husky dogs. Huskies had earned their name as savage work dogs used by the Eskimos since the Stone Age to hunt down musk ox and polar bear, and to haul their heavy transport sleds across the snowy wastes. Now they were to carry precious medicines to Nome in a desperate race against time.
They used a relay, a set of some 20 mushers with husky dogs, stationed right the way across the state to carry the antitoxin and pass it on each to the next. And the reason Balto became so famous is that he was the lead dog on the team that finally brought the antitoxin in to Nome.
It was decided to bring the serum by rail from Anchorage to Nenana. At Nenana, it was to be collected by the first dog team in the relay.
From Juneau, Office of the Governor. We are shipping antitoxin by rail. Stop. Train line ends at town of Nenana. Stop. Select fastest dogs for sled team to carry antitoxin from Nenana to Nome. Stop. God willing, train will make it through. Stop.
The train did make it through and was met by the first musher, Wild Bill Shannon. He lashed the serum to his sled and set off westwards.
Easy with that. All right, now make sure you lash it down tight. Get up, Steve, get up! Take care now, you hear? Go on, boys, go on, move.
The dog teams were to follow the US mail route along the frozen Yukon River. The journey was to take them 675 miles across the heart of Alaska. Heavy snow had fallen and temperatures had dropped to 50 degrees below zero. At the Eskimo village of Shaktoolik, the serum was passed to Leonard Seppala, the greatest musher in the Alaskan Territory. Seppala took a dangerous shortcut over the icebound Norton Bay, with gale force winds hurling seawater over the breaking pack ice. With snow and hurricane force winds causing a whiteout, the serum was passed to Gunnar Kaysen and his lead dog, Balto. Balto was considered a scrub dog, worthy only of leading slow transport teams. But now he hurled himself into the race.
Come on, mush!
Balto, slow down! Wait!
Hey, you're going too fast!
This morning, Gunnar Kaysen and his lead dog Balto mushed the last few frozen miles into the plague-ravaged township of Nome in the far north of Alaska. Working in relays, 20 dog teams have rushed the serum in a record-breaking 5.5 days across 700 miles.
In the early hours of February 2nd, 1925, Balto led his sled team, near blinded by the whiteout, into the stricken township. Gunnar Kaysen had missed the final relay in the blizzard, but struggled on over 53 miles in some of the worst conditions ever recorded. The vital serum was pressed into the hands of Dr. Curtis Welch and rushed to the hospital. The children of Nome were saved. And the story of Balto was telegraphed around the world.
Good job, Balto!
Balto was now a famous celebrity, and celebrities, as some people were aware even in those days, can be exploited to make money. Balto was bought and put under exclusive contract by a well-known film producer, Sol Lesser, and taken to Los Angeles.
My father brought the dogs to Los Angeles because they were a big attraction. There were sports heroes, there were bathing beauty heroes, there were famous millionaire inventors, and here was a dog. A dog touches everybody's heart. My father thought of him as a subject for appearing on the stage with the theaters that he was running, and possibly in a film. I remember very vividly the dog coming to school. For 2 days, my sister and I were the most popular kids in school. It was a great experience. But after that, I just don't know what happened to the dogs. They were in the headlines, and suddenly, poof, they were gone. Johnny Weissmuller came along. Gertrude Ederle swam the channel years later. And I never knew until now whatever happened to the dog.
Today, in cold storage in the basement of the Cleveland Museum of Natural History in Ohio, Balto, mounted and faded from his original deep black, resides amongst the other museum exhibits. Steve Misenzik was given the task of finding out how he arrived there.
We know that when Sol Lesser lost interest in doing the feature film, that he turned them over to an unknown vaudeville agent. After that is the period that they really went on tour for about 1.5 years. We know that they made some appearances at dog shelters as a beneficial kind of thing. We know that in the appearances that they did, they had to give the impression of being a dog sled team, so their sled, which had been traveling around with them, would have been mounted up on wheels, doing something that was a feat of strength for the dog. It's interesting from the newspaper accounts of the time. There was a vacationing Clevelander who was a dog enthusiast who heard that the famous Nome Serum Run dog team was making appearances. Upon investigation, he found out that they were owned by Mr. Sam Houston and were being shown in a side street theater. It was an unusual place, he thought, and he went in, and it turned out it was for gentlemen only. A dark, dank room with chains holding the dogs to the back wall, and they would get up every now and then and pant a lot. He just became so offended by this, he approached Mr. Sam Houston, and he said, what would be able to be done to get these dogs out of this situation?
The entrepreneur Sam Houston finally agreed to sell the dogs for $2,000. But he only gave George Kimball 2 weeks to pay. George Kimball returned to Cleveland to try and raise the money. Another race was on.
Someone, and I really don't know who, got the idea that to bring Balto to Cleveland. So they thought it would be best, and I think it was in the paper, to school children save the money. So we all took our pennies and everything to school, and we made a big event out of it. We had a big sign on the bowl that said, "This is for Balto." And we put the pennies all in this big bowl, and we didn't fill the bowl up. I was sorry about that, but we got the bowl fairly full, and then we put it all together, and they took it into Cleveland, and then they sent for Balto.
The true story of Balto begins in 1925. It is the middle of winter.
The story of Balto is still taught in Cleveland schools. And by tradition, some of the older folk give talks to the kids about the day when they themselves were children, and the husky first arrived in their city.
I remember when Balto and his buddies came to Cleveland in March of 1927, and they had a parade right down Euclid Avenue. Somebody had put wheels from a little red wagon on the sled so they could pull it, because there was no snow at that time. And crowds lined both sides of Euclid Avenue, and down they went, down Euclid Avenue.
Balto was famous again. After the parade, he was taken to the city zoo, where 15,000 people came to see him on his first day.
I had great feelings for the dogs. They were, I really felt bad for them because here they were, huskies and with a big heavy coat of fur on, and they'd just be sweating there and, well, they're panting actually in the summertime, and there was very little shade around that enclosure, as I recall, and they had one big dog house in the center of it. And I felt bad. I thought those dogs ought to be out running around.
I remember the day my mother and my aunt took us 3 girls down there. I just thought he was such a glorious hero to have done that for people, to save people, you know, that it was just extraordinary.
Balto saved the children, and then the children turn around and they save Balto. And all of the filmmakers on Balto are very proud in honoring the symbol of courage and bravery that is Balto.
Running in this year's Iditarod, the last great race.
Balto died at Brookside Zoo in 1933, but his memory lives on with the annual Iditarod dog sled race, which is held to commemorate the journey of 1925, and is now Alaska's biggest sporting event.
3, 2, 1, go! Rick Swenson out of the Iditarod starting gates on his way to Nome.
Simon Wells found the Iditarod an important source of inspiration for the movie.
It was necessary to do a lot of study to find out just what is Alaska like. So we studied documentary footage and we studied wildlife footage. But most importantly, we studied documentaries about the Iditarod race. And as we studied the tapes, we realized that everything we wanted for the film was right there. There was the sleds going through really dreadful conditions. There were amazing weather effects, all types of snow. And we realized just how awful it must have been in 1925. All right.
The filmmakers also talked to dog sled racers. Joe Garney is an Eskimo and one of Alaska's top mushers. Having run the Iditarod 14 times, he knew exactly the conditions the animators would have to recreate.
We can have windstorms that are unbelievable. You can have windstorms to where you have to lean into the wind, and it storms so hard that you cannot see the front of your dog team. I mean, I've seen storms where you could not see your feet, and the snow is drifting past you so fast and hard.
We also wanted to know what makes a good lead dog, because obviously Balto should have those characteristics just deep down in his soul. So we talked to a number of extraordinary mushers to try and find out what they felt made a good lead dog.
To me, a lead dog is not necessarily, most of your drivers want to get the fastest dog possible up and lead. But for me, it's honesty. It's all depends upon the individual, but for somebody that depends, like out here, you can see this country is wide open country and stuff. A lot of times your life depends on your lead dog. And for that, it's having that connection with the animal. It's having that love for each other, and you trust each other, and it's just being honest. Like, why do you choose this one person to be your companion for life? This animal becomes your companion. Your life depends upon him at times, and his upon yours.
All right. Good catch, Balto.
I understand that the characteristics of a great lead dog are that he's a natural-born leader, for one, and he's also a very honest and loyal dog. And Balto, this is something we tried to put into Balto. We actually tried to instill all these same characteristics, and I hope we did it.
In bringing this story to the screen, as animators, we had a number of issues that we had to think about. There was the issue of realism. In many animated features, you have little fluffy animals that wear coats and trousers, and they carry little mouse implements and this kind of thing. But clearly in this film, we were dealing with a true story and had to actually look at it from a fairly real point of view. It was going to be necessary to draw real dogs going through real environmental conditions. Otherwise, the audience simply weren't going to believe it. So to this end, we shot a lot of home video. We got a lot of huskies in and did life drawing sessions and shot video and analysed frame by frame to see exactly how dogs move, what order their feet fall in order to really show real dogs. For example, in the movie, there's a race to choose which dogs will be on the serum run. And we have to see Balto not only running with the other dogs, but jumping onto a barrel, jumping over camera, jumping up onto a series of upright posts, running under things, jumping over things, running up a ladder, jumping across boats, and down in front of the other dogs.
We made Balto's eyes bigger because a lot of him is about emotion, about what he's thinking. So because he didn't have actual hands as such, he has paws, he had to walk on 4 legs. We find that we had to make his eyes bigger so that the audience could read his emotions, right away.
I can get that medicine through.
First of all, get it through your head that they wouldn't put you in a sled team even if you did win, which won't happen, and if it did, it wouldn't matter.
Boris, did you ever think maybe you're the reason the other geese fly south?
If only your feet were as fast as your mouth.
Hey! They're starting.
Balto!
Whoa!
What are you, nuts? Steel catches you around here. He's gonna turn you into kibble. Let us let the half-dog run.
Balto is a dog who believes that he could easily be the lead dog of a dog sled team. And he feels that he needs to prove this. We had kept his head down, and he's more of a thinker rather than a talker. So you could actually see him brooding quite a bit.
Jenna? Jenna.
Balto. Oh, hi.
Hi. Look, just a shot in the dark, but I was wondering if, I don't know, maybe you'd like to go chase a few sticks by moonlight.
In order to give Balto a character arc that the audience would travel with, if you like, we chose to make him a half dog, half wolf. And at first he's denying the wolf part of his character, and eventually realizes that it is this very wolf part of him that is going to be how he succeeds in the end.
Let me tell you something, Balto. A dog cannot make this journey alone. But maybe a wolf can.
Even though we've changed the story for dramatic effect, it doesn't alter the essence of this legend that was Balto. It's an incredible story, and I think it's as powerful today as it was when it flashed around the world 70 years ago.